All right. Welcome into the Rise and Grind Morning Show. Good morning, everybody. We're going to bring Dan Campbell in right away. So not much for an opener this morning, but we're going to bring Dan Campbell in. We're going to watch the press conference. We're going to break it down afterwards, and then we're going to get into some pretty juicy topics today. So good morning. Welcome into the Rise and Grind Morning Show. Like, share, subscribe right away. Don't wait. Get it done right now, please. And we'll give you a training camp jacket today. Someone's going to get one. I forgot to give one away yesterday. But Michael Garrity did win one, but we're going to give another one away today. So let's bring Dan Campbell in. But good morning first, Eric. How are you?
Fantastic, man. Ready to go. Let's hear what Dan has to say.
All right, here we go.
Questions.
He just starts with questions.
Possibly Tate and Tyleek maybe getting a shot this week. Is that still the plan, or are you guys going to hold them out?
Yeah, I'm thinking about that. I would like to get them going this game, but I'm not 100% set on that yet.
How does that process work, Dan? How do you, just in terms of time frame for you, how do you decide what you're doing for, which guys you're playing, which rotations you're playing for a preseason game?
I think that's kind of last night we talked about it a little bit, and you have an idea. And really today, whoever's playing is not going to get enough reps to really – they'll have plenty of juice to play in this game at Atlanta, so you can kind of play anybody you need to,
But Tate, you play the rest of the offensive line or other guys that he plays by just for him? Is there some value for him to play with the guys that he'll be starting next to him?
Yeah, I'm going to tell Decker, hey, we're playing Tate, so I need you in there, Decker. No.
One other offensive line, I was talking to Christian Hagen about this a little bit the other day, just sort of the standard that he's walking into on the offensive line, as good as you guys have been up front the last couple of years. For you, what do you envision the offensive line looking like? What does that standard mean, and how does he sort of fit into that for that guy?
Well, look, I think that, our old line's got to be able to move the line of scrimmage. Right? You got to move the line of scrimmage, and we got to be able to anchor in the middle. That's what we've done a good job of here. We're able to run multiple schemes. We ask a lot of those guys, But with that, we also know, look, I got to keep telling myself too. Mahogany, for example, he's a young player. He didn't go through preseason last year. He got 2 games. That's good, but it's not like he's going on year 5. So. He's a young player that just needs reps, and with every rep, he gets better and better and better. And there's also going to be some things that happen. There's growing pains that comes with that. So more reps we can get, and we reach those standards, the better off we're going to be. It all starts with the front for us. Everything does.
And in terms of the traits, the tenacity, the mindset, the finish.
Yeah, he's got all that. He's got every bit of that. He's like most young players. He just needs experience, and that comes with time and reps over and over and over. But he's improving.
I recognize this question might be starting from a false premise, but it does feel like your defense is ahead of your offense all camp, at least the first units. How do you balance, excitement about the defense or concern about the offense? How can you tell, where those guys are at when you're just facing each other each day?
Yeah, it's a good barometer to try to, figure out exactly where you're at. And I think you take it for what it is, man. I do believe our defense is we're playing pretty good right now. We're practicing well. We're running pretty efficient. Shep's doing a nice job over there. We've got, we're pretty versatile in coverage and pressure. We got the front to handle the run right now, and then we're pretty sticky on the back end. That's a good combination. We can crush the pocket. That's versus our offense. So I do see that. Now there's things we got to improve over there too. We got some things that pop up every day. So I think they're a handful right now. And then offensively, certainly we want to be clicking a little bit better. But I also know we're like this far away. Like every practice you come out, it was even the other day. It's like, man, we hold up a half second longer, and this is a 30-yard touchdown. bad footwork on one play, Gibby spits out of there. Instead of 5, we're about to get 60 for a touchdown, So we're literally that close, and it's just and that's how it works with offense, especially early. It's one guy here, one guy here, one guy here, and it's just the little minute details. So, and that's all. They're all correctable. That's what's awesome. So we're growing. We're getting better. I love the fact that we're being challenged on both sides. We really are. I feel like we're challenging each other.
Yeah, 3 years ago, Sean Van Hamilton was still on your roster. What have you seen from him since he joined your staff that makes you think he has a future in this league?
Yeah, he's done an unbelievable job. I mean, one of the reasons we got him into coach and asked him to stay was he was such a smart player, man. He was such a headsy player. He was a high-level thinker as a player, so to be able to, and look, he wasn't the most gifted. And when you're not the most gifted, then you have to do every little thing right. You have to know every little detail, and you probably know how to coach every little detail too. So that was him, and he is. He's a stickler for the details. He expects a lot out of those guys. He wants them to play downhill and aggressive. He's a hard worker, and he's grown a ton under Shep in that room in AG. So he's going to do a great job for us.
One more follow-up on the offense versus defense thing. How much of that is, I know standard, but just a trickle down of Decker being out, or maybe even down to your third on the offensive tackle position?
Well, look, if does Decker make us better? Yes. I mean, yes, he's a good player. But it's also, as with any of that stuff, you still got to be able to move the ball if you don't have one of those guys or 2 of them or 3 of them or whatever the case may be. And so you tinker with some stuff. You try to make it work. You keep a few more guys in on protection than maybe you ordinarily would. But that's part of the task of moving the football against your defense in practice, And it's not a full-scale game plan against yourself. You're trying to get some of your plays going, run some of your stuff, but yet if you can't block Hutch and he's going to blow every practice up, then that's not good either. So, but listen, we're good. It's all part of the process of working through it and letting guys grow and get reps.
It seemed like last 2 back there, right? It seemed like Tyleek in one of his splashiest practices on Monday, just in the backfield a lot. Where have you seen him grow the most from the beginning of camp?
Yeah, well, what we saw on his college tape is really showing up here, and that's his ability to play, to really get knocked back, into the backfield, kind of recreate the line of scrimmage. He's got a good shock and shed. Sometimes a little too good, he'll jump out of a gap if you're not careful. So we're trying to just stay on him with that. And then he can get an edge. His rush, he can get an edge. He's trending the right way. He's growing. We just got to get him in better shape, and that'll come there again with reps. We're going to give those guys today a ton of reps, out there. We're going to work, a 2-minute drill. That'll be good for everybody, really. They all need it. So,
from a coach's perspective, what is it like to work with a roster where it is so set, really at the top of, the depth chart, essentially? I mean, firstly, there's not as many question marks. Even the kicking situation's totally resolved. I mean, what is that like when you go into a camp where, things really aren't that hazy at the top of the depth chart?
I would answer it like this. I thank the Lord that we've got players that love ball, man, and they work their tail off and give us everything they've got. And most of them have the ability to make some plays for us. That's what I love, man. So these dudes lay it on the line, and they play for one another, and I'm fired up that we got them.
Guys that left practice the other day, any concerns? O'Connor.
Love it. Shamarko.
Yeah, they're all, it'll be whatever, a week on a couple of guys. Love it maybe 10 days, but they're good. It's just going to take a minute. Yep.
Give me 1 sec. All right. So I missed the last part of that, and I don't know why I can't hear myself. Can you guys hear me okay? You got me, Eric?
Yep.
Okay.
You were really garbled there for a second.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here.
Seems every time you play a video, you're really garbled for 10, 15 seconds, then it normals out. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, well, it was still kind of playing on the back end here. But anyway, good morning. Welcome back into the Rise and Grind Morning Show. Dan Campbell just got off the old press box there, and he sounds sick. He doesn't sound good, man. He sounds like I do. And so my first question that I would have asked today, and I don't know, how this is really affecting the guys, but we've had a ton of air quality issues. It's the worst. Detroit was actually labeled as the worst city in the world right now with air quality yesterday. I seen that pop up somewhere. How factual that is, I guess we'll leave that up to the news media that reported it. But it was reputable. And the fact that Detroit is labeled that right now, and I know they're practicing in Allen Park, which is just 20 minutes down the road. How are these guys feeling? Right? Is this hindering the Detroit Lions camp? Because if Dan's sick, and these guys are all out there, you know what I mean? And Megan told me this yesterday too. I mean, obviously she's a nurse, so she understands this stuff, pretty well. But she's like, maybe you're just feeling really bad because of the air quality. It's affecting people differently. There's not a whole lot of, flu and crap going around right now, but I'm wondering how it's affecting our guys, how it's affecting the team. Dan doesn't sound good. I know I feel like shit. How are you feeling, Eric? Because you're up there, isn't it?
It's horrible up here. Listen, I went to a dinner last night at Lake State University for MESTA. It's a teachers association, and they do earth science and geology stuff. And they had me speak last week. I went to a dinner last night, and they have these big picture windows at the university in their dining hall, and you couldn't even see Canada. You could see the bridge going across to Canada, but about half the bridge was gone. It looked like fog, smoke. It's so bad. It's so thick, and it up here. It's hanging really low to the ground. I know yesterday on the Mackinac Bridge, you could not see Mackinac Island.
So to say, I guess to answer the question, it's not good.
No, it's really bad up here.
I mean, when you think of big countries, or very condensed countries, China, Japan come to mind among others that have extremely poor, air quality all the time. We don't usually deal with this in Michigan. Detroit is a bigger city, but I would say that the air quality has never been terrible. All the years I've been traveling to Detroit, these Canadian wildfires, man, I guess to kind of give the reason why we're having issues with air quality. So again, anyway, I know I'm off on a tangent. I'm just wondering if it's affecting the team, if it's affecting Dan, if these guys are feeling like shit because of the air quality. I mean, oxygen's pretty important when you're huffing and puffing all day. And it's also, humid, right? So you've got air droplets in the air that, are going to pick up all that stuff that you're breathing in, getting into your lungs. So I don't know, man. I'm hoping that they're doing some sort of, maybe they're jumping on the oxygen machine or something afterwards to kind of clear out their lungs. But Dan doesn't sound good. All right, so let's start with the first topic. He was asked about Tyleek and Tate getting some action in what's tomorrow's game? Friday's game, right? Friday's game. So he's undecided, but he did mention that he's going to kind of hold guys back a little bit, I think is what he kind of said there. They're going to get a ton of reps today, but kind of holding guys back a little bit if they're going to get a ton of playing time in Atlanta. So if Tate and Tyleek are getting a ton of reps, I'm just going to speculate. If they're getting a ton of reps today and tomorrow, I assume they have practice tomorrow, then they may not play on Friday, which I don't think is a huge issue. Obviously, we want to see these guys. Specifically about Tate here, did Dan Campbell just kind of fire a shot at me? Did you catch it? Or no?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so, I said very early off in the offseason that I would predict that the offensive line is going to be Decker, Panay, Graham at center, Tate at right guard, and Mahogany at left guard. And I said I would not want to see, two rookies next to each other, right, without having, some vets on either side, because I think that that's important. I think that that's a smart way to play football. I think it's a smart way to, perform on the offensive line with some vet talent around you that knows what they're doing, can help get the guys, lined up the right way and get the playoff without a hitch. And so he said, well, if Tate's going to play, then that means I have to have Decker in there. I don't know what that meant, but is that kind of a shot at, because I'm saying that I feel like they need vets around these rookies to kind of get the season started? I don't know. Or maybe someone said something to him. I have no idea. I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking too far out the box, but I guess go ahead.
I think that Campbell may have jinxed us a little bit there, saying, yeah, what if we're down 2, 3, 4 offensive linemen?
Yeah.
I didn't like that comment.
No, we don't need that to happen this year. All right, so let's think about it, man. If we don't get a shot to see them, I mean, it's not the end of the world, but I think that they'll get some time this year. They absolutely need to get some preseason game in. Going up, against your guys every day is what it is. You know what I mean? You get used to your own guys. You need to go up and fight up against somebody else. You have to, because they're going to throw different stuff at you. They play different. Their speed is different. You need that NFL experience. That's what it's all about in preseason. Now we have a couple of practices where we're bringing other teams in, and so they're going to get some of that work, which largely I think every season that Dan does this, brings teams in, which I think he's been doing since 2022. Those guys aren't going to play in preseason a whole lot, maybe a possession or two. And I would say that we're at least going to get a couple of full possessions with the ones. I would think at least in one of these games. Maybe it's not Friday. Maybe it's the middle. Maybe it's the second preseason game, the third for the Lions, but the second week for the rest of the NFL that we'll maybe see these guys get some heavy action. Any thoughts on that?
Yes. I don't think you are going to see any of them in preseason whatsoever.
At all? You don't think we're going to get the ones out there at all?
None whatsoever. No ones in the preseason whatsoever.
Well, I think we will on defense.
No, this is the reason why. Because you have joint practices with the Miami Dolphins next week, and then you have joint practices with the Texans the following week. So if you want to get work with your 1s and 2s, that's the time to do it. Offensive and defensive, you get Jared Goff out there, you get your new offensive line, you're going to get to see what they look like against quality ones on another team. And you can control the practice. You don't have live hitting on your quarterback. So that is going to be the perfect ramp up to the season, is those 2 joint practices with the Dolphins and the Texans.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of what I was just saying, that, they're going to get that time. But even though they've had that time, I want to say last year, the ones did get it. The defense usually does play. They usually do, at least a little bit. We've got new coordinators, man. I can't imagine that they don't want to get these guys at least a little bit of a shot. But we'll see what happens. Next up, he was talking about offensive line, a focus on moving the line of scrimmage, which they couldn't do in the Hall of Fame game, that they're going to run multiple schemes this week versus Atlanta, kind of get these guys up to speed. And I really feel like we're going to see some errors here. I think that we're going to see some stall outs, and that's okay. It's good. It's not a bad thing. And I'll explain why in a second, but to go in and get stalled out on a few drives is going to give the Lions some good tape. So it can work, from both facets. Okay, you go in, you do a good job, you move the ball, you don't have an issue, you score a touchdown. You got good tape there. You go in, you get stalled out, you go 3 and out a couple of times. Now you've got really good tape to go and correct. But he also mentioned, like guys like Mahogany, this is his first camp. Just like I said a few weeks ago, I thought this was going to be huge for Christian this year, that he's going to finally go through a full camp. Last year was out with mono until like week 6 or so of the season. And now he's got a full opportunity to grow with everybody around him. However, Dan Campbell did say that there, potentially are there some concerns with Mahogany right now that, he's having some growing pains. He needs a lot of reps. He said he's a young player still, needs a lot of reps. I mean, obviously it's only a second season. I kind of took it as, maybe there's some issues with Mahogany and maybe he's a little bit slow on his giddy up, kind of getting things down pat. But until we see some live action, we don't know. Maybe it's just growing pains. Maybe he's struggling a little bit, but I think it's all going to work out. Give me some thoughts on that. And then I'm going to explain why I think that we're just fine. We're okay.
Yeah, I think we're okay too. And I really like this comment from Bill Rowland in the chat here. He says, I just don't want to see a rusty Lions team for the first 2.5 games this year.
That's our MO.
That is something that has plagued us the last couple of years. That's the reason that we lost to the Buccaneers in week 2 last year. Otherwise, we go 16-1. The only game that we really got walloped was against the Bills. Other than that, the Lions should have won against the Bucs and went 16-1. But they had that slow start. If you remember, we had to go to overtime in game 1 against the Rams. And that is something that has kind of plagued this team the last couple of years, is slow starts. We win games, but we're just barely winning them by a field goal or a touchdown in overtime. So I'd like to see it tightened up a little bit and ready to hit the road running, and let's get out of the gate with a fast start this year.
So I'm sorry. Say that last part again. You said that we were the rust. I get, like, it usually takes us 3 or 4 games to finally get rolling. Yeah. But you were saying that we are barely winning with what? I'm trying to send tickets to somebody right now.
Yeah, like the first 2 games last year, we played the Rams and we played the Bucs. So the Rams game, we had to take them all the way to overtime, back and forth game, and we won with a Demo touchdown in overtime. Ran the ball right down their throat. And then the second game, we lost against the Bucs, and we just looked unprepared. We looked rusty. We just weren't gelling yet. And it took 2.5 weeks before we really got rolling last year. I would like to see that right out of the gate. I want to see the Lions start with a real hot start, come out, win against, let's just destroy the Packers at the Packers this year, and then come home and teach Ben Johnson why he shouldn't have left.
I hear you. We don't need a slow start this year because we have divisional games to start. We can't have a slow start, to your point. And if there's ever been more of an emphasis on not having a slow start, this is the year. Non-divisional games, you can get away with that in the beginning of the season. But divisional NFC North games, you can't, because this is the most important thing to win. However, I guess I'm going to push back on you a little bit here. Going up against the Rams and the Bucs, playoff teams that we're now facing like the 3rd time in a row, in one season really, and then into the next season, right? We played the Rams twice that year, and then the third, time to open up the season. We played the Bucs in the postseason, and then again to open up the season. And I thought we played the Bucs in the regular season that year too, if I'm not mistaken. It's a lot harder to beat a team a 3rd time.
Yes.
Right? Especially if it's a non-divisional team. Because non-divisional games, I think you can win a little bit easier because you don't have all the tape. You're not going up against the guys every single year in and year out. Those games are a little bit, I would say, not easier, but I think it's a little bit more in the favor of the Lions when they go up against somebody that's not in the division or not even in the conference.
Yeah.
So I'm going to push back a little bit and just say I expected good games. I expected a tough game.
But what I was saying was that the Lions came out not clicking on all cylinders. They were rusty. They just didn't seem like they got everything out in camp that they needed to get out. They weren't a well-oiled machine until the 3rd game of the season. And I agree with Bill Rowland on that it didn't matter who the opponent was. It was that the team themselves just wasn't clicking on all cylinders and you could see it. Once they got it, it was incredible.
Oh, I'm responding to Terry and Arnold real quick.
All right. He finally messaged you back?
No. I have tickets to give away to practice today, and I didn't do a show last night. That's where I would have given them away. So if you want to go to practice this morning, it starts in 6 minutes. So I'm not even going to respond to Tyrion because he's rolling. He's not going to be able to repost that. If you want to go to practice, you've got to email me right now, and hopefully you're close to Allen Park. Send me a DM on Twitter or email me mailbag@rockdown.com. I have up to 6 tickets to give away. I was feeling like shit, so I really didn't get off the couch last night. I didn't really do anything. I felt like crap all night, and it's my bad. It's my bad I didn't get the tickets out. I feel terrible because I usually never, ever have leftover tickets. Either we use them all or we give them all away. What is going on with Ticketmaster right now?
I don't know.
Something's wrong with their site. And yesterday, by the way, to go off topic for just a moment, the reason why there was an issue with that Pride of Detroit site yesterday is they did some upgrades.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I guess they did some upgrades to their site. I wouldn't know what they are because I'm never really on their site, but their site, I guess, was upgraded yesterday. I saw a tweet by Jeremy Reisman and Eric Schlitt last night that there was some upgrades.
So that's what was going on.
Yeah. But I need to get into my account. Next subject here while I'm doing this. Dan was asked about the defense being ahead of the offense. It's something we spoke about yesterday. It seems like it's happened every year. It's always been that way. The defense is usually ahead of the offense. I don't care what team it is. But specifically, the Detroit Lions have a really good defense. And so I'm expecting that to happen. And he said, Dan believes that the defense is playing well. They are efficient. Shepard's doing a great job. We have a sticky back and a stout front. Improvements are still a focus, obviously, each and every day. But here's the kicker for the offense. If the offensive line holds for just another half a second, they can get big gains, big plays. He's talking 30 and 60-yard touchdowns in today's press conference if they just hold a half a second longer. So that makes me feel, a little at ease here. That even though the offense is going to struggle a little bit right now, they're going up against one of the best defenses in the league. But if they can just hold a little bit longer, we're going to be just fine. Thoughts on that while I get logged in here?
I think a lot of that's going to be getting people like Giovanni Manu up to speed. Manu is really going to have to step up this week. And in the weeks to come, especially if Decker is not back. But it's sounding like Decker is very, very close to getting back. Another one I'm interested to see if he's back today, and I was kind of trying to look for it, is Terrion Arnold. So from what Coach was saying before, Terrion should be back midweek this week. Well, it's Wednesday, so I'm wondering if he's going to be back today. And if not, tomorrow the Lions are off. There is no practice tomorrow because they're traveling to Atlanta. And then the game.
They are off tomorrow?
Yeah, and then the game's on Friday. Yeah, so we won't have a press conference from Dan tomorrow.
So then today's it. So I guess he's going to get everybody some reps. If anyone in the chat wants to go to training camp, you just got to let me know right now. Put it in the comments that you want to go, and then email me so I can make sure that I see it. I've got 6 more tickets that I want to give away. I do not see any emails at the moment. All right, motoring forward here. Trajectory, growth to week 1. Dan kind of mentions that, today, that he still feels, they're right where they need to be. It's all about getting better every day. If you're not getting better, you're getting worse. And he feels like this team is getting better every day. Here's something else that I've heard Dan and others saying consistently. I'm not saying it's me, because I feel like Dan has always said this to a degree, but they've added an extra word. The standard is the standard. Ever since the Motor City Mullet came to life and said, the standard's the standard, boys. We're now hearing the standard is the standard everywhere, especially with this team. They believe in the standard. Now, I don't know if that's a Tate Ratledge thing that's rubbing off on people, because that's something that he was saying very often, in the interviews that he did prior to the draft, and even last year in 2024 or 2023, some interviews that I watched of his, he always spoke about the standard. I think all NFL teams speak about the standard, but more so this year than ever before, we're hearing the standard is the standard from this team. They expect, that the defense, no matter what happens, last season we got all these guys going on IR, that the standard is the standard for everybody that steps in, whether it's next man up, right? And you're getting your opportunity, that they're going to keep that standard the same. I'll finish with this. The Lions are going to be focusing on a lot of 2-minute drill today, getting the D-line a ton of reps. And then where has Tyleek grown was the question. How have they seen Tyleek grow? And Dan said his ability to play and get knockbacks into the pocket. He's got a really good shock and shed, and then he gets an edge, which means they've got him out, on the outside there to set the edge, and that they need to get him in a little bit better shape. Now, I don't know if that's football shape or if that's rep shape, getting him more reps to be mentally ready for what he needs to do and getting comfortable with this defense. But he is trending fast. So give me your comments on that, and then I want to bring in this update on Alim McNeill and why that statement about Tyleek Williams is so perfect for what's about to happen for this team.
Yeah, Tyleek Williams, it sounds like he got a sack in practice yesterday or the day before, whenever they had practice, and that he's coming on. Yeah, and it really sounds like he is deserving of that first-round pick, and that's nice to hear. And hearing that he's in with the ones, there's no, okay, he's going to get some first-team reps, anything like that. I like seeing that he's a first-rounder. He's plugged right into the first team, and he's doing what he's supposed to do, getting sacks, getting in the backfield, wreaking havoc, and not getting shut down on every play. Because you heard he got shut down by Tate Ratledge a couple times, and I think by Glasgow. So it's nice to hear that he's winning some reps, and he's getting some recognition from the coach.
You win some, you lose some, right? And that's going to happen for a young rookie. First round pick. I mean, you expect a lot out of him. I think you expect the same out of him as you would, any player that you pick in the draft, but he is an early, or late first round pick, and you're expecting good things out of him early, as he enters the NFL. This is huge though, because we have a fairly decent size update on Alim McNeill. And if you remember a couple of weeks back, when I was highlighting that XM radio show, the training camp show, I did Brad and Dan. I did them all. And then also the week before that, I did Jared Allen on XM radio. And Brad, GM, Brad Holmes, had told XM radio that McNeill had the potential to be back earlier than expected. Now, that's all good and fun and in the context that he said it, but now it's a reality. It was then reported that Alim McNeill is now making significant strides in his recovery and rehab from his torn ACL. But Alim McNeill does not view it as recovery or rehab anymore. He did offer a promising update on the 4th of August, which I missed or didn't highlight that day. Here's his quote. "I'm doing great. I don't really call it rehab anymore. I'm in a spot now where I'm just training. I feel really good. Things are going good. So I can't complain. I feel great." And then Alim McNeill was talking about the defense, where he said, quote, "Defense has looked good. They are flying around a little bit, getting upfield, and it's going to be fun when I join them." So he's on his way back. Could he be back sooner rather than later? That's the biggest question. Now, over the past couple of years, Alim McNeill has been one of the better interior defensive tackles in the league. In 2023, he was Pro Football Focus's 6th highest graded defensive tackle at an 88.5. He recorded 5 sacks, 34 pressures. And then last year, he had 45 pressures and a 77.1 PFF pass rush grade, which ranked him 13th in the league before his injury. Now, Alim McNeill's .56 PFF WAR grade over the past 3 seasons ranks him 16th among all interior defenders today. His 70.6 PFF overall grade in 2024 was also a top 10 at the position. And he recorded a PFF pass rush grade above 77 for the second year in a row. Third round draft pick. Not a lot of people knew who Alim McNeill was and didn't give him a ton of credit. There's too many people out there that think that sacks are way more important than anything else that a player can do on the football field for the defense. Alim only getting 5 or 6 sacks a season, that's big for a defensive tackle, right? I would say that if you go back and look at Ndamukong Suh's best season, I don't know that he ever had double digits. I don't think he did. But if you were to give Ndamukong Suh 7, 8, 9 sacks a year, my God, the way that he played, it just looked bigger, right? But it really wasn't. The sacks aren't the most important thing for a defensive tackle. It's getting the pressure. It's shutting down the run, right? It's opening up lanes for your linebackers. It's helping your defensive ends get free if you're able to take on a couple of blockers. And now we have this emergence of the rookie talent in Tyleik Williams. His presence mixed with the veteran players and Alim McNeill coming back, fairly soon, is going to position this defensive line into a very strong position. I think that we're going to have probably one of the strongest defensive lines in the league. I would dare say put us in a top 5 when everybody's back and healthy. But there was, these updates on Alim McNeill, and then there's some key points that I want to jump into here. That the primary focus of Alim McNeill's positive update is kind of really giving us a timetable acceleration here that he's going to be back sooner rather than later. When he was placed on PUP, his recovery was going to take about a year, is what was expected. That would have been November, mid-November, end of November. And now they're talking mid-October, potentially earlier. So he may only miss 5 to 6 weeks. And we have a bye week. It's a bye week in week 8, I think, this year. He should be back before the bye week. That's what's expected right now. The fact that Tyleik Williams is playing as good as he is, and you're going to get a top 10 guy back, a top 10 defensive tackle, this D-line is going to be scary. Don't forget about DJ Reader. Don't forget about Roy Lopez. The thing that I'm most disappointed about is Levi Onwuzurike, because he was a top 16 last year too. Imagine if all of these guys were healthy to start week 1. Tell me another team that that has that many good football players on the defensive line, not even including the edge. Davenport's been an absolute wrecking ball. Hutchinson may look better than what he has in the past. At least he's healthy. But Alim McNeill has now emerged as a highly productive interior defensive lineman. He's evidenced that by his impressive performances. The metrics that I just gave you in 2023 and 2024 prove the fact that the Lions made the right pick with Alim McNeill. They made the right decision by extending him. He's able to get into the backfield. He's easily taken up 2 blocks, which is going to free up some guys. So the early notes, the news, and the big update on Alim McNeill. Eric, what do you think?
Fantastic news. And I'm just waiting to hear the same news for Rodrigo. It'd be nice to have him back a little early as well. And by all indications, what they were talking the last time we heard about Alim McNeill was going to be early was that Rodrigo was running around and they were having to hold him back. And I am ready to see our team healthy, especially our defense this year. Having Alim on this rotation with Tyleik Williams and DJ Reader and Roy Lopez is going to be something to behold. Something we haven't had since, I don't know, Nick Fairley and Ndamukong Suh.
Yeah, you're going back to 2014 this year, like I was last year. It was impressive last year to see what we had in camp, and I think that both you and I saw that at the loyalty day that we went to open up camp. The defense looks good. And all the doubters and haters for Marcus Davenport, as long as that dude stays on the field this year, they're all going to be eating crow, and that makes me so happy. Put some more context to this. Tyleik had 2 sacks on Jared Goff the other day. Let me look at my notes. I don't remember which day it was, but he had two sacks on Jared Goff Oops. And then you add the depth and the talent around him. DJ Reader, who's expected to play an even bigger role this year now that he's fully healthy, and his second season inside the system, which this system isn't changing a whole lot. I think that Casey Rogers is really getting a lot out of these guys. We've kind of forgotten about the fact that we've got a new defensive line coach who has been regarded as one of the best. Now, I know that the guy we had last year was supposedly the best in the league, but Casey Rogers is also in that conversation. I'm excited to see where this defensive line goes. We can't forget this line features Aiden Hutchinson, Marcus Davenport, Tyleik Williams, Alim McNeill, DJ Reader, Roy Lopez, and then there's Broderick Martin. I got kind of upset about Broderick the other day because I called him Brick Martin. He hasn't done anything. But I think to his credit, he hasn't had to. Like, it's really hard to crack this roster. And being the depth piece that he is, how much more do you really expect to get out of the guy? Miles Adams has looked really good in practice too. This line is deep. It's probably one of the deepest in the NFL. And I think it's going to be really fun to watch. Let me see what's on our sheet here. I don't have our sheet open. See where we go next. All right, so we broke down Dan Campbell's press conference this morning. We got our Alim McNeill update out of the way. The power and quickness of Tyleik Williams showing up early in camp was also promoted by Tim Twentyman, who wrote an article on that, which I'm not going to go through this morning, but he also had a lot of good things to say about Tyleik. Eric, did you put the injury updates in today?
I didn't have any new ones today.
So it's still the same, right? They signed Luke Barco, corner. They placed Dan Jackson on injury reserve the other day. They signed another corner in DJ Miller, and then they waived Kai Robichaud. So nothing new to report, which is good, especially after the night practice. No new injuries. They were off yesterday. Hopefully nobody, slipped and tripped on a dog or something. Let's get into some NFL-made headlines. Which one do you want to highlight first?
Let's go with the first one. I kind of liked this first one to start. So the NFL is banning something that our ex-kicker... Okay, so when Matt Prater would make a kick for the Detroit Lions, the first thing he would do, and even Jason Hansen used to do this all the time, they'd crack a smelling salt, they'd smell it. All right, time to go make this field goal. And they'd go out there and they'd kick the field goal, right? Well, the NFL is banning smelling salts for NFL players this season. And they say that the product can mask concussion symptoms.
Yeah.
And I can't talk today. So that is the reason they are getting rid of smelling salts, because they can mask a concussion. And I really, this one blew me away. And there's a lot of players that are not happy with it, including some very high profile players in the NFL.
You know what I think I'm going to do?
Yeah.
I think we should order some smelling salts, and then we'll do the test live on air and see what happens.
Oh, jeez.
It is the most god-awful thing ever. Like, I don't understand why guys get off on this stuff, playing football. I mean, you get an immediate rush. I know that there's a medical term or a phrase. It's not popping in my head right now, but what the smelling salts actually do, they've likened it to illicit drugs, like the same type of reaction that your body goes through, even though it's instantaneous, it's short-lived. That's kind of what it's like. And I'm not going to mention what that drug is, but I get it. Like, why would you want to, allow these guys to use something like that? It gives them an edge, doesn't it? I mean, wouldn't you think it kind of gives them an edge? I don't know why a kicker would want to do that, though. Like, and if your kicker's got a concussion, that's a problem. He shouldn't have a concussion.
That's what I'm thinking. But Travis Kelce was the biggest proponent that I've seen to this. He does not care for this at all.
Who was that?
It was Travis Kelce. Did not like this.
What, the banning of it?
Yeah.
So he must be using them on the sideline. Is this just fun for him? You know, I see someone put in there the Colombian Bam Bam. Yeah, I guess that's what it's like. So there was a little a quote in here. I'll highlight it for you here. It says in 2024, the FDA issued a warning to companies that produce commercially available ammonia inhalants, otherwise known as AIs. That's interesting. As well as to consumers about the purchase and use of AIs regarding the lack of evidence supporting the safety or efficacy of AIs marked for improving mental alertness or boosting energy. That was a quote, according to the memo obtained by the Associated Press. Now, the FDA, this is another quote, noted potential negative effects from AI use. AIs also, and we're not talking about artificial intelligence here, AIs also have the potential to mask certain neurologic signs and symptoms, including some potential signs of concussion. As a result, the NFL Head, Neck, and Spine Committee recommended prohibiting the use of AIs for any purpose during play in the NFL. Now, I would say that they're probably still going to have these available if someone is knocked out cold on the field. You probably have a medical use there that the trainers could use to wake you up. But that they're probably going to limit it to that, I would think, unless they're going to ban it completely from the NFL. The way I read it is they're banning it for players to use. I don't necessarily see in here where they're banning it for trainers to use.
Yeah, and it was George Kittle, not Travis Kelce. I had those. I always get those two mixed up.
Now, Kittle, I could see. I could see him. He kind of gives off that aura that he would be a guy that would use something like that before he goes into the next play, the next series. And I'm just being funny, facetious here, but he's that dude's a wild character, man. He is all lights all the time. Everything's just blinking.
And how are they going to police this? Because if somebody sneaks a smelling salt, there's no drug test for that or anything. They would have to see them do it. What if they go in the blue medical tent and back out they go?
Well, I don't know. That's kind of weird. It's no longer getting caught in the bathroom with some powdery substance. It's now smelling salts.
Yeah. Yeah.
People will do anything, I guess.
Yeah, and this goes on to say smelling salts and other similar products have been a staple on NFL sidelines for years, with many players believing they can provide a sudden jolt of energy or alertness.
Yep. I'm watching, someone just sent this video to me and saying, is this really Caleb Williams? And I'm trying to...
Uh-oh. We got more Caleb talk today.
That can't be him. I can't imagine his legs are that skinny. That's not Caleb Williams. Never mind. That's not Caleb.
All right.
All right, what's up next? Do you want to go through the next one about the contract situation at all, or do you want to push that one to tomorrow?
We'll skip that one for tomorrow. I'll dig into it deeper.
Okay.
And we can do the next one really quick if you want.
Let's just go right into the NFC North report.
All right, that works. So the Minnesota Vikings got dealt a major blow yesterday with the suspension of one of their starting wide receivers. Their number 2 wide receiver, Jordan Addison, was suspended by the NFL for the first 3 games of the season over his DUI case. And they labeled it something weird. So I thought this was a weird way they did it, as him. Let's see if I can find it. They labeled it as him basically as the same thing as JMO's suspension last year for what is that called?
Performance enhancing, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was labeled more like that than it was for the DUI. But everything I've read about it, it says that it was for this DUI. So Addison avoided a trial by pleading no contest to a lesser charge last month after facing 2 misdemeanor DUIs for his arrest on July 12, 2024, when a California Highway Patrol officer found him asleep in his vehicle that was blocking a lane on an interstate exit near Los Angeles International Airport. And then Addison will be permitted to practice and play in exhibition games before the suspension kicks in for the games against Chicago, Atlanta, and Cincinnati. Addison was the 23rd pick of the 2023 draft and has 19 touchdowns, 1,786 receiving yards in his first 2 seasons to form a dominant duo with 2-time All-Pro Justin Jefferson, but he was arrested for excessive speeding the week before training camp of his rookie year. And then the drunk driving arrest last offseason came after another dangerous off-the-field decision. Addison was contrite and remorseful upon reporting to training camp last year, praising the Vikings for their support after he said he was in a dark place after the arrest. Now, Jordan Addison gets a lot of comparison to someone else, and that's Jameson Williams. They're both high draft picks. They've both been in lots of trouble since they've been in the league. They've both faced suspensions. And they have very similar production through their first couple of seasons. And I know J-Mo's been in the league one more year, but J-Mo had a blown ACL and basically didn't play his first year. And these two players are kind of mirrors of each other, just on different teams. And our Vikings fans getting fed up with all of his BS the same way Lions fans were getting fed up with the BS Oda J-Mo.
Did he get a extension already? I can't remember.
No,
he didn't.
Yet. No, this is his 3rd season, and he was a first-round pick.
Okay, so he hasn't had an extension yet. The thing that you're trying to pull there was, it's called wet reckless. So the city attorney had offered up a plea bargain to Addison for wet reckless, which is a plea bargain in which a person charged with a DUI accepts a lesser misdemeanor charge of reckless driving. The wet indicates that alcohol or drugs were involved. However, he's not going to end up with a DUI. He's just going to end up with a reckless driving. So it really didn't assimilate to J-Mo really, but maybe the NFL is utilizing it, in a context that way. But here's what the city attorney said. He said, while Mr. Addison's case would have made for a great trial, I admire him for taking responsibility by accepting the city attorney's wet, reckless offer. Now he can put this incident behind him and solely focus on his promising career. To your point and question on, are Minnesota Vikings fans kind of getting sick? I don't know. Are they getting sick? I have no idea. But I guess, headlines are not good. They say that all publicity is good publicity, but this type of stuff is not good. He clearly has an issue, right? I think that when you look at patterns, I think patterns speak volumes, and he has a pattern that ever since he's been in the NFL, he's been in trouble multiple times now, whether it's been drugs or alcohol involvement. Looks like mostly alcohol. That's not good. What's easy? He's either trying to hide behind something, or he's trying to mask something. I guess I could speculate. He just needs to get it together. He does have a promising career ahead of him, but if he continues to do this stuff, he's going to derail it. And being only suspended 3 games, my question would be, how did J-Mo get? What was it? A 4-game suspension?
I thought he got 6, and they did it down to 2.
That was the betting thing, I thought.
The gambling one, yeah.
Yeah, but when the
other one he got was 2 games.
Was it only 2 games? I thought it was 4.
No, it was 2.
Well, either way, I wish we would have figured out what happened with that, but I don't think anyone really released any information.
This is the part that that got me. So yesterday, Adam Schefter put that Addison was suspended for the first 3 games in the 2025 regular season for violating the league's substance of abuse policy. And that's what Adam Schefter wrote.
So that would be similar to what JMO had going on.
Yeah. And that's why I'm wondering, why they labeled it as that if it was a DUI.
But it was because it got pled down to something else.
Oh, I gotcha.
And that means that it could be, like I read, it was either alcohol or illicit drug use. But he got reckless driving. So it's kind of weird. Like if you end up with reckless driving, like if you don't understand how pleas work, if you let's just put it this way, if you're alleged with murder, but then you're convicted of jaywalking, right? Your charge is jaywalking. It's not murder, right? So that's how pleas work. If he gets charged with DUI but not convicted of DUI, it's not DUI. So I don't know how the NFL can utilize, the penalty that they're giving him, but nor do I really care. It doesn't affect us. It just affects the first few games for the Vikings. And we don't play the Vikings to start the season, but I do believe that they go up against the Bears and the Packers to start the season. So they're going to be down a weapon to start the year, and they could get a leg up in the NFC North if they could pull off a couple of wins.
Yes.
Next up is go ahead. You were saying something?
Yeah, I was just going to say, next up is the Chicago Bears.
Yeah,
so,
but before you get into that, though, I got to say something because I had multiple people send me messages yesterday saying, Will, I think someone is just totally watching your show and stealing your content. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Just tell me. I know that people are. It's okay. If they can't figure out to, have their own content, I guess. And so they sent me, I'm not going to say who it is. You guys can figure it out for yourself. But wasn't it yesterday that we were talking about Ben Johnson? Yep. And I went off the rails and said, this is Matt Patricia all over again. Right? Well, there's another channel out there, pretty big channel in Detroit, that started to say the same thing yesterday after this show. And it irks me a little bit, right? Like, why not highlight and say, hey, this dude had a really good comment. This is what he said. Yeah. I think it's accurate, whatever. But we started talking about it. I gave some pretty tasteful comments on it, and then other people just steal it. It's like, get your own shit, man. When we read articles, if we straight up read an article, we're going to say this is by Richard Lewis of the Windy City, or this is from Pride of Detroit. It's Jeremy Reisman or whomever, right? It does us no justice to not share where we're getting information from or who's speaking on it first. If we have our own spin on something, that's different. We try to be as original as we can, but everyone talks about the same stuff. We highlight articles all the time. So they know who they are. Go ahead now. Let's talk about Ben Johnson again. I love this.
Right. So this is a fun one for Lions fans. In the offseason, the Chicago Bears made a $51 million decision on an offensive lineman who just happened to be a former Detroit Lion. Can any of you tell me who it is and why the Detroit Lions let him go? And he went to the Rams, and he didn't do so hot for the Rams. Well, now he's with the Chicago Bears, and he's not doing so hot for the Bears and his old ex-coach.
I just opened the article for the first time, which, by the way, it is Richard Lewis's from the Windy. Is Jonah Jackson again? Like, we're not surprised here. Like this, we expected this to happen, but yeah, I'd love to hear what you're going to say about this.
Yeah. So the Chicago Bears have been in training camp for a few weeks now, and the battles have taken full force on the field with a new coaching staff and scheme implemented. These practices are critical to get valuable reps for the 2025 season. Caleb Williams has been up and down, but that's to be expected as head coach Ben Johnson has thrown a lot on his plate, and he is. He's giving him a totally new system. And this is a very complicated system compared to anything that he's ran in the past. But there's one player on the Bears who has played in this system before and has been a Pro Bowler in this system before. Well, Bears right guard Jonah Jackson is off to an amazingly slow start in training camp. Jackson suffered a leg injury last week that forced him to miss several practices. He returned to the field on Sunday, but was relieved by Ryan Bates for 2 consecutive practice sessions. Jackson quickly limped back into the building on August 2nd, according to the Bears insider Brad Briggs, indicating he still isn't fully recovered from what had happened to him on the sidelines. So it sounds like...
Hold on a sec. I kind of missed something in that.
Yeah.
So what do they mean he quickly limped back in on August 2nd, just 3-4 days ago?
So he limped him back into practice, was in very shortly, and right back out again.
So he came back to practice on August 2nd, and they got hurt again?
Yep, trying to maybe he came back too early from injury. But the guy is always injured, and that was the problem with the Lions. You know, when he's got a little bump or a scrape, he never wanted to continue to play. And from all reports, it's sounding like Ben Johnson is already starting to get fed up with Jonah Jackson, not wanting to play with minor injury.
Maybe he's just sick of Caleb Williams.
That could be.
I wouldn't want to play with the dude either. I think Caleb's going to give us some dimes all season long, man, and not in a good way. That dude spreads the ball like buckshot, but I think he's pissed off his entire team already. He's alienated himself. But, I mean, hasn't the experiment already gone foul for Jonah Jackson? He went to the Rams where he had a good relationship with Matthew Stafford. Matthew, not Matt, right? Matthew Stafford, and it didn't work out. You could tell that the last year that Jonah was with the Lions, Dan Campbell, I remember this vividly, was at the podium and he's like, you know, Jonah's going to let us know when he's ready to come back. And he had a finger issue, hangnail, I don't know, something. Clipped his nail too short. I'm not sure what it was. But you could tell that Dan was pissed. He was not happy that player was going to let the team know when he was ready to come back. It's just, I don't think it kind of works like that, right? You need to work with the trainers, and the trainers are telling you when you're ready to go. Obviously, it's your body. You're going to feel it. But if the trainers are saying, hey, you're good to go, you're good to go. You know? So I think it was back then, the story was already written for Jonah Jackson in Detroit. He wasn't going to come back in the offseason. We knew that. At least I speculated that. And then it happened. He goes to L.A. That lasted a year, lasted a few games. They put him at center. That wasn't working out. And now he ends up back in the NFC North with Chicago, where it's just been a total disaster. Not just because of him. The entire team being led by Ben Johnson is a complete disaster right now. It's the same thing I said yesterday. Yeah, Slim Patricia. Slim Patricia, man. I think that he's putting way too much on these guys' plate, like it said in the article. But I think at the same time, he's trying to run these guys too hard. And if you've got a little bit of a bump or a bruise, and maybe you're going to take it the extra mile and just say you can't play that day because you've had enough. I can only imagine that does happen. You know, if you get sick of your coach or you get sick of your positional coach, and if you get banged up a little bit, you're like, you know what? I could probably play through this, but I'm not gonna put up with this bull crap today. And I have no idea if that's going on with Jonah Jackson, but I'll just say I'm not surprised.
All right. And up next, we have the Green Bay Packers. Matt LaFleur had a press conference, and he had a little bit to say about his starting cornerback, Nate Hobbs. And he said they do not know if cornerback Nate Hobbs will play in week 1 of the regular season against the Detroit Lions because Hobbs had surgery on his knee on Saturday for a preventive reason. Per Matt Schneidman of the Athletic, Hobbs limped around the locker room before talking to reporters after practice on Tuesday. The Packers cornerback Nate Hobbs had a significant limp walking through the locker room on Tuesday after undergoing surgery to repair a torn meniscus on Saturday. Hobbs, perhaps the talk of Packers camp through the first week for the physical play style he has brought to the Green Bay Packers after 4 years with the Raiders, said that he suffered the injury last Thursday during a practice collision. Hobbs is slated to start at outside cornerback with Keeson Nixon this season and is expected to see time at the nickel. Head coach Matt LaFleur wouldn't put a timetable on Hobbs' return, only saying, "We're hoping to get him back here sooner than later." Hobbs didn't rule out playing week 1 and said he's just glad the injury wasn't more serious.
What was his knee injury? So he had a knee scope done.
Yeah, so it sounds like he had a torn meniscus and he had it repaired on Saturday. Something that happened.
And so week 1 is what? We are 4 weeks away?
Yep.
Okay. 4 weeks away, you just had your knee scoped. It's going to take, now I'm no doctor, but I've had plenty of surgeries. It's going to take probably 2 to 3 weeks for all that swelling to be down and done, right? And probably be fully healed. But then you've got to be able to put pressure on it. You've got to be able to run. You've got to be able to anchor, take hits, everything else. Nate Hobbs is a pretty damn good football player.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the guys that I was looking at for the Lions to bring in a couple of seasons ago. Just looking at some of his grades right now over the last few years, he's been better, but in 21 was his best year. He was a 79, 78, 76 across the board between overall grade, coverage grade. He was one of the elite. Matter of fact, he was a top 21 cover corner back in 2021, and he was a top 15 run defense corner in 2021. And then in 2022, kind of had a down year, but he was still good against the run. In 2023, he had a decent year. I don't really care about the pass rush grade a whole lot for corners. He had a decent year, 68 in coverage, 78.8 in the run. Last year, I thought he had missed a few games last season, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see if I can pull up his game stats. Yeah. So last year in 2024, it looks like he missed 5-6 games, kind of the middle third, if you will. After week 9, he was out till week 15, and then he missed week 16 and whatever week 18 was for that team. So he missed quite a bit of time last year and had a down year probably because of that. Only 554 total snaps last season. He averages about 750 a year. But he's a pretty good football player, man. When he's healthy and he's active, former 5th-round pick, he's played pretty well throughout his career. He's a guy that I was not real happy that the Packers got. Let's just put it that way. He could make the difference. Now, they did move on from Jair Alexander this year, right? I think you're muted.
Yes. Yeah,
so
he's over with the Ravens now.
Yeah, so this is not good for the Packers that they're down Jair and now potentially Nate Hobbs. I don't think he's going to be 100%. Even if he is playing in that opening week, he probably won't be 100%. That would be a guy that I would target if I was the Lions. I'd go right at him and see what he can do. Put the pressure right on him because if you rip off a couple of good passes to J-Mo and or St. Brown, whoever, right, and you get his confidence down, then you pick on him the rest of the game. You got to play mental warfare with these guys, man. Go after. And look, I don't know how often, Dan and Brad, or I'm sorry, Dan and John Morton, talk about these kinds of things. There has to be an element, like the art of the war. There has to be an element in every game that you're targeting certain players anyway, but taking in consideration the injury history, practice time or lack thereof, you're new to the team, target them. Go right at them. That's why you see a lot of rookies get picked on because they haven't been with the team long enough. They don't have enough NFL experience. You can usually expose them a little bit. And once their confidence is shook, we've seen what happens, when players' confidence is shook. What else do we have?
That's it for the NFC North. The rest would be all Lions stuff today. So starting with the Detroit Lions, Sione Vaki is prepared to make his preseason debut this Friday at the Atlanta Falcons. And I found this one from Benjamin Raven. And he says, Sione Vaki has been back practicing after suffering a hamstring early in camp and expects to make his preseason debut this week against the Atlanta Falcons. Vaki missed last week's exhibition opener in the Hall of Fame game against the Los Angeles Chargers. But after seeing his usage increase in back-to-back practices, including getting some work in the team's physical Monday night practice, the second year back and special teams ace is ready to go. And I can't wait to see this kid in some preseason action, because we got to see him a little bit last year in preseason, but it wasn't a lot. When he was in at running back and he had a few passes thrown his way last year, he was incredible. He had some really good scampers with the ball, got loose. He was shifty. I loved seeing him in the preseason, but then once the regular season got here, we really didn't get to see him at all at running back.
Sione Vaki, he has looked good. I've been impressed with, just go back and watch a video that I did on him a year ago. I was impressed then. I've been impressed. Every time he seems like he touches the ball, he gets 6 yards. If he's going to be the highlight on Friday night, who else are we going to have in? It won't be Gibbs. It won't be Montgomery. So if it's Sione Vaki and Craig Reynolds, and we got Small, and who else?
Sailor.
So we've got some up and comers. They're going to have to really work hard to unseat Sione Vaki or Craig Reynolds. I'm beginning to wonder if we're going to keep 4 this year, or if we're going to go down to 3 and hopefully sneak somebody onto the practice squad, because I think that adding a 6 wide receiver is going to be valuable to this team. And I think adding an extra defensive lineman is probably going to be very valuable to this team. We might only see 3 running backs this year. I want to move on to a quick video here, and that's it's mindset, right? Grant Stewart. I want to bring him in and listen to his interview the other day talking about mindset.
Talking through that sack, not many people do a full flip and end up getting a sack.
Oh yeah. I was telling him I thought I was going to tackle the running back. You know what I'm saying? My gap opened up. I went in there to make the tackle on the back, and he cut me. So coaches call it hot stove. Touch the ground, get right back up, find the football. So happened it was right in front of me, so I just chased him down. Yeah.
Your fumble, just the sloppiness in general.
Yeah.
It's July, so is it a big concern? You just got to make sure this thing, team-wise that is, gets fixed.
It's absolutely a concern. I think it's something that's unacceptable. I think the standard is the standard, and it's something that I think we're going to learn from and be able to watch the tape and make sure that we improve. You know what I'm saying? The biggest thing that we can do from right now is continue to just get better, put our head down and work. That's what we can control. So just as a team, know the pressure's going to be on, and just be accountable with each other and making sure everybody is on the same accord to just continue to try to get better with every moment of every day. I think that's the best thing we can do right now.
The standard's the standard, boys. You keep hearing it from everybody. He also mentioned that sloppiness is concerned when he was asked, obviously what happened in the first game, the Hall of Fame game was a complete mess, as expected to be. Got something playing there. And he speaks to the standard like, look, we're better than this, right? I can get what he's saying here. We're better than this. We shouldn't be playing like this right now, but it is early. The other part of this that I wanted to talk about was the sack, which he started to talk about in the beginning. If you didn't catch it or understand all of it, that's that play that I think I tweeted it out right away. But when I was watching it from the stands and I heard that thump, like he goes in, he thumps somebody when he was crashing in the middle of the line. He falls down flat on his stomach, and then he does like a martial arts move. He just bounces straight up and then gets into the backfield and gets a sack. That is such heady play by this guy. So talking about mindset, this guy his mindset is he knows where the football is at all times. He's a very smart football player. If you watch him, if you watch any of his tape, even after the Hall of Fame game, which there isn't much out there, there's a few pieces that I think he looked really good. Go back and rewatch the game on NFL Plus and just kind of hone in on the linebackers and watch him play. He looks really good. I am extremely excited about Grant Stewart. And again, this is just another move by Brad Holmes, like I mentioned the other day, that was unexpected because you didn't really know who Grant Stewart was. He was always in a backup role. He clearly wasn't used enough, wasn't used right by the Colts, because this dude can play the game of football, and he is so versatile. He's the Swiss Army knife of this team right now. He's back there receiving kickoffs. He's playing defense. I mean, there's really nothing this guy can't do. The other reason why I wanted to bring this in and talk about him for just a moment, Eric, we were talking about fullbacks the other day. Wickster came on and was asking some questions about essentially what was 21 personnel. And are there any limitations, not having a fullback on the roster? Grant Stewart, why is he not our fullback? Like, he's got the quickness. He's definitely a thumper. Have the Lions put him in that situation yet? These are the questions that I would be asking if I was in the room. What about Grant Stewart as our fullback? And the second question, Dan, would be, why would you want to keep a fullback as opposed to a 6th or 7th linebacker, right? Or a 4th tight end? Those are the questions that I would be asking. So I'm going to ask you guys in the chat, man, what do you think about Grant Stewart being the Lions fullback in situational football opportunities? And what do you think of him so far? You've watched him through one preseason game. You've heard a lot about him throughout practice. I think this guy is he's gonna show up big this year. I think it was a great pickup by Brad Holmes.
Yeah, I think he's super versatile, and just like they did with Rodrigo last year, making him into a part-time fullback, why can't they do it with him? Then they got 2 guys that can do it, because Rodrigo is going to be coming back eventually. Stewart, I think he has a great opportunity to fill in while Rodrigo's gone, both as like the 4th, 5th backup linebacker and special teams ace, and as a part-time fullback. That would be a great little addition for Grant Stewart.
I think so too, man. He said that, that's what we could, this is a quote, after the game. This is like 4 days ago or whatever, where he was saying that, I think it's absolutely a concern talking about the sloppiness. It's unacceptable. I think the standard is the standard, and it's something that I think that we're going to learn from, be able to watch the tape and make sure that we improve. The biggest thing that we do from right now is continue just to get better, put our head down and work. That's what he says, that's what we can control. So just as a team, know the pressure is going to be on, and just accountable with each other and make sure everybody is on the same accord. Just continue to try to get better with every moment of the day. I think that's the best thing we can do right now. I'm really looking forward to more Grant Stewart highlights. I think we're going to have plenty this season, as long as he gets some action. He's probably the 4th linebacker, on the team right now with Rodrigo out. And even when Rodrigo is back, I don't think Grant Stewart's going anywhere. I really don't. And the more we keep looking at the Alex Anzalone issue, and now that that's kind of settled, at least for this year, I'm glad that we've got a guy like Stewart picked up and Cunningham for right now. Got 2 guys that can fill in and make some plays. What's next on your list?
Well, before we move on, could we be without Alex Anzalone and Rodrigo as soon as next season? Because neither one of them is signed past this year. This is Rodrigo's final year, and this is Alex Anzalone's final year, probably as a Lion. So do you think we could be without both of them heading into next season?
I think Rodrigo stays before Anzalone, and I say that because Rodrigo is going to be the lesser expensive of the 2 by far. Rodrigo's not going to cash any big checks right now. He's been a rotational player. He hasn't had a ton of snaps after his first couple of seasons. And I would say that in large part, you want to keep Rodrigo around. He is versatile. I think that he can give us some good opportunity at the linebacker position when needed. I think he's played pretty well. At the same time, I mean, as a backup, I think he's perfect. As a starter, I think that I want to get a little bit better. I need a little bit better size. That's just me. I think that the Lions are definitely going to draft a linebacker next year. If they don't grab somebody at the trade deadline, they might opt for that. They might want to bring in an extra guy just to kind of go through the rest of the season if they're in a good enough position to win. Linebacker is going to be, I think, a very critical role inside this Calvin Shepard defense. It's something that I've been kind of hitching my wagon to this season is Calvin Shepard, former linebacker, Calvin Shepard, the linebacker coach, Calvin Shepard, now the DC. I think he's going to highlight his linebackers more so than anybody else. I think that those guys are going to get the brunt of the work at making some big plays, and I think it all starts up front. Controlling that line of scrimmage, opening up some holes for these guys to get into the backfield is going to be fun to watch. No, I don't need any Girl Scout cookies today. Thank you. Your auto warranty is up. All right, what's next?
All right, the Cincinnati Bengals, they are going to do something that the Minnesota Vikings already announced. So the Minnesota Vikings, they announced that on Christmas Day, they're going to have their white jerseys on, white helmets, white pants. They're going to white it out, right? Well, the Cincinnati Bengals are set to host the annual Stripe the Jungle night during their game against the Detroit Lions. Stripe the Jungle is returning to Paycor Stadium when the Lions travel to Cincinnati on October 5th, and the kickoff is set for 4:25 p.m. Fans attending the game will be encouraged to wear either orange or black, depending on their section of seats, making Paycor Stadium look as striped as the Bengals uniform. So each section will have where they want them to wear either black or orange jerseys. So they're going kind of the opposite of the Minnesota Vikings, where the Minnesota Vikings are going to wear all white. They're going to wear black and orange. So I've seen a thing that they are encouraging Lions fans that are going to the Bengals game to wear blue, because if you wear your black jersey, you're going to melt right into the black and orange fans.
Yeah, I'd wear white.
Yep.
I would definitely wear white.
White or blue.
I mean, whites are away anyway.
Yeah. But it's kind of neat, I think, that their fans and their team have organized this by section. So I don't know if you can pull in the picture here.
Oh, it's up
from this article. Well, the picture down below that, there's a seating chart, and they're showing every section of the stadium where they want people to wear black and they want people to wear orange. So I thought to myself,
well, you can see it. You can see it here in this picture where you've got black, orange. It's striped, right?
Wouldn't that be cool if the Lions did something like that?
There's a lot of things that the Lions don't do. And I started talking about it 2 years ago when we got back from the NFC North, the NFC Championship game, and you listen to how the 49ers players are announced. And the fans all have like a nickname for these players. And so when they're announced, and I can't remember all of them now, but when they're announced, the whole stadium erupts into whatever the nickname is, and it was super cool to listen to. I'm like, why don't we do this stuff? And you know where it starts? It's not so much the fans that can start that. I mean, yeah, we can talk about it till we're blue in the face, but I'm going to get a couple of thousand people that are going to listen to it, and maybe 10% of them are going to go to the games. So it's not enough. Where it starts is you have to get the Lions to print something. You have to get all the beat writers to print something. They have to get in lockstep to say, this is what we're going to do. This is your nickname for Panay. This is your nickname for Anzalone. This is your nickname for Hutch. And when they're announced, you need to all scream at the same time, this word. So if they wanted to make it better and more fun, and to kind of put their their imprint, you know, on the league. And I'm not saying you want to be a copycat, but it is a copycat league. It starts at the top. The Lions have to put the information out, and then the announcers before the game, during the game, whatever, they have to get the fans ready. You know, put some stuff up on the screen, tell them what's going to happen before the game, announce it, you know, before the game starts, and that's the way we can affect change and to do some more fun, cool stuff at the stadium. I feel like the Lions have a very boring game. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like the extracurricular stuff is boring to me. It's not exciting. Like I've been to other stadiums where they do, you know, the big skull horn, you know, or like for the Bengals. Now we've done an orange out before, but that wasn't good. That was to get Matt Millen out of there. We need to do something different.
Well, we had paper bags.
Let's not do that. You know what? Okay. All right. Here's what we'll do. That's a good point. We should all wear paper bags, and then you put Ben Johnson's picture on it or Ben Johnson's name or something. That's what we should do. We should all wear paper bags when Ben Johnson comes to town. We got to do something, right? Or we get newspapers. Like we used to go to games all the time where, you know, the other teams announce you just get a newspaper. Well, if the Lions would just put newspapers on the backs of every chair instead of, you know, the threes or whatever, put a little, you know, newspaper that you're going to print on the backs of the chairs. I don't know. We got to do something. And look, we don't have enough people watching the morning show to affect change, like I said. But we're just going to have to start talking about it every day. Or if someone wants to donate 60,000, you know, newspapers, I'll be more than happy to hand them out. Before the stadium or, you know, in front of the stadium. I'm sure the Lions won't like the garbage, but oh well. You know, all these newspapers flying around everywhere.
Yeah.
Or we could just fly planes onto the field like we used to. I don't know. We got to do something different.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, it's pretty plain Jane. You know, they have done some different. I can't say that they haven't. They've done like the bracelets that all light up and choreograph with the music and the.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the Sunday Monday night thing though.
Yeah, and then they've done some pyrotechnics and stuff that come out of the ceiling. I've enjoyed that.
So hold on, let me back up. Since you mentioned that, you know why we haven't enjoyed that before?
Because we were losing.
Because we were never in a playoff game.
Yeah.
So the pyrotechnics, you know, when they launch the booms after the score, they get the crackers, you know, up above the second row there. That's what other stadiums do because they're playoff teams. You know, that's what they do in the playoffs. So the NFL does have a choreographed section to this where they all kind of implement the same thing. Again, I've been to other teams, I've been to other games where that stuff is just normal for them. Yeah. Just not for us. So it's all new to us. But everyday game, like just a regular season game, we need something different. We really do.
Yeah.
Really do.
Yeah, I think them doing like, let's say for the home opener against the Bears, it's the black and blue division, right?
Yeah.
Why not have one half of the stadium all wear black and the other half of the stadium all wear blue?
Yeah, something. I mean, of course, we got the Bears coming in week 2.
Yep.
So they're black, orange, and white. They're probably going to be white.
Yeah.
I would assume. They could be orange. I don't know if they have an orange jersey this year.
I think that was their color alternate. Not sure if they could wear that on the road.
Well, I know that they can wear 3. Yeah, they do have. They have the black, the orange, and the white, or it's like a blue. It's like a really, really dark blue, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a navy.
I think you can wear them 3 times a year, right?
Yeah.
The alternates. So I don't know. We got to do something different, man. We need to get the word out. So we need to figure out what it is that we need to do different. And then we need to get the word out.
Yeah.
Somehow.
I'm all about it.
I at a minimum, we have to embarrass the shit out of Ben Johnson. somehow. Just like I said that I thought that Ben Johnson was going to get a worse welcoming with booze than Matthew Stafford. I did hear that on that same channel that same day that I said that. The other channel that likes to use my stuff, apparently. We need to do something big for Ben Johnson, and not in a good way.
Yeah.
Not in a good way. Something big. And even if it's pregame where we can get on, some of the TV screens somewhere, some of the cameras that are floating around pregame.
Yeah.
We got to do something. I don't know. Anyone have a giant printer? We can run some newspapers. Or maybe we can call some of the news. Do they even make papers anymore? I think they do. Maybe we can get like some old newspapers that they're just going to throw away and just use them, just to be able to, pull them up and read them, act like we're reading them when the Bears and Ben Johnson are announced. That's the easiest one to do. That's the easiest one to do.
We could get a Benedict chant going.
Something.
Benedict.
Yeah. Ben's a dick. How about that?
Yeah. I'll get a Ben's a dick chant going.
Yeah. There we go. I mean, it sounds the same. So.
Ben's a dick.
He's gonna get ripped to pieces before that game starts. All right, let's get into what's next here.
All right, Will, what if I told you you could go to the store right now and pick out any couch, any recliner, any furniture you want, and I'll give it to you for free?
I know where you're going with this. They do it every year, but what are they saying this year?
Well, for the second year in a row, Gardner White is launching the free furniture if the Lions win the Super Bowl promo. The Detroit Lions fans, here's a little extra reason to believe this could be the year for the Detroit Lions. Gardner White is offering free furniture if the Detroit Lions win the Super Bowl.
There's a gimmick to this, though.
Yep.
I believe you have to buy furniture between...
Yeah.
Is it August 4 and 13?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you have to pay for your furniture. And what they do is they give you a rebate check if the Lions win the Super Bowl. But man, you could get $10,000 worth of furniture and get it for free this year, man. You just have to believe that the Lions are going to pull it off and win their first Super Bowl in franchise history. Who doesn't want free furniture?
So just go put it on 12 months, no interest. And, when the Lions win, you make a few payments, but then you're going to get your rebate check.
What's the return policy?
Probably not. Yeah, not that long. I'm sure they plan these things out way, way, way in advance.
The thing about furniture is, like, my mom got all new furniture for a house, and she went to one of these big stores like this, and she picked out the furniture she wanted, right? It was all matching and everything. Got herself a recliner and a love seat, a great big sectional couch. Well, she orders this, and she doesn't get it for like 6 or 8 months. And she's already making payments on this furniture that she doesn't even get to enjoy for months and months after she's already making payments on it. The furniture people are so far behind in the United States right now making furniture. And I've heard that it's not just one of the retailers, it's almost all of them, that they don't have it in stock right there in person. That's just their show model. And then you have to wait for yours to be built and delivered.
Interesting.
So you may order furniture now and not have it till after the Super Bowl.
Interesting. I know there was a pretty rough issue after COVID. Obviously, a lot of people were behind, but when Art Van closed, man, that was a huge hit to the West Michigan area. And I know they were in a lot of locations, but there's like nowhere to buy furniture. We bought furniture at Costco last couple of seasons or last couple of years. They got some pretty decent stuff, but I've also had some issues too. Yeah, so Cruisin', I updated that, your chant that you wanted to let's go Ben or let's go John instead. So if we score, we'd go let's go John, or let's go Morton. So I think Morton won't. It's going to be hard to hear. It's got to be punchy. But Johnny, I get it.
Yeah. Oh God, they're all putting chants in the chat.
Yeah, let's put some chants, man. What do you guys want to say? We just got to get the info out. So we got to find something that is punchy that you can actually hear. That because sometimes if you say something that's too long, it gets muddled and you can't understand it, right? Like Jared Goff is pretty easy. How about John Morton? It just doesn't. I don't know. Does it fit? Not really.
No. Yeah.
I don't think it does. I don't think it has the same effect.
Oh, I think the FU Ben, I like that one the best. I know there's a lot of kids at the games, but I would not be surprised if you hear that one going off on Sunday, the 14th of September.
Yeah, we got to find something. I'm gonna have to ask AI today to figure out some things.
Daddy?
Who's your daddy? Honestly, I don't know if they would understand that one. All right, let's move into another quick video of the day. This was after the first NFL game of the season, which was the Hall of Fame game. I want to bring in Ahmed Hassanein.
Oh, all right.
And hear what he was talking about and how his first game went. Oh, I've got to get this fixed. Brought that picture in. Now it's all jacked up.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I haven't learned how to do one thing on OBS, and that is how to have multiple things set up that aren't images. Like unless I download the video and like I can download the video and then I can have a whole bunch of stuff set up. But if I'm trying to do it live from a website, it's a lot more difficult to have multiple things set up. All right, here we go. Ahmed Hassanein after the game.
Win, lose, or draw, give all glory to Jesus. He brought me here and he gave me all this life that I have, and I'm just so grateful and honored to just be in this building and be in this position. I know we didn't accomplish what we wanted to, but there's a lot to learn from. And man, but it felt good. It felt really good to be out there. It was almost a disbelief for me. Like I cried in the beginning of the game, just because it's like I couldn't believe it for someone like me that came so far and went through what I went through to just be here and just I soak it all this moment in. And man, just looking at the field, I'm like, wow, I'm literally playing an NFL football game, and it was just unreal to me, and I take pride in that, and I'm just gonna do the best I can for my team, and whatever it takes. I love this team. This team really, really works hard, and they believe in me, and my teammates believe in me, and my coach believe in me, and I just want to take the coaching and keep learning and keep stacking and just take one day at a time, one game at a time, and just keep learning,
Man, how much growth did you experience throughout the game?
There's a lot, At the end of the day, football is like football, but there's like a lot of talented people. But for me, I just try to play my game, I try to do what I can for my team, and try to make a play. At the end of the day, it's about the team, It's for me, experiencing me being out there, like, okay, let me try this, let me set them up for this, let me do this, let me do that, and just getting that knowledge. And the more I play, the more I'm confident, the more I'm gonna make plays. You know what I'm saying? So just, especially somebody for me that hasn't been playing football for that long, just taking it one play at a time and keep growing and going on the sideline and just learning. One thing that popped up to me, that we can't watch film on the sideline. On college, you can watch film on the sideline. In the NFL, you can't. So I was like, whoa, really? So that was a new thing that I learned. But I was just gonna keep taking it one day at a time and keep growing, and just watch what I did wrong and correct that, and watch what I did good and move forward from that, and just stay level. Stay level. I know we didn't accomplish what we wanted to, but at the end of the day, everything happens for a reason, and growth happens. Maybe we wanted to go through this so we can learn, and from this extra game that we have, that we can just accomplish what we want to accomplish.
So you learned that in game that you could not watch the video replay?
Yeah. I did not know that. It was kind of like because in college you can watch the film on the sideline, you can make the corrections on the sideline. In the NFL, you just watch the pictures, and I'm like, wait, what? I can't watch the film? And you're like, no, and I'm like, that's weird. But just learning and adjusting, and just be like, okay, what I need to do here better, coach? What I need to do here better, and just keep getting better as the time goes on.
What did you like most about how you played today?
I really like how I stopped the run and just attacked my gap, did my job, and just want to keep growing. And the quarterback wasn't taking that much long. Almost got my first sack, but he slipped away from me, and almost got there again in the backfield. But the pass was just so fast. The one thing I'm proud of, and that I'm playing free. I'm not afraid to make mistakes. And I just want to grow. I want to learn. I want to gain the game experience. I was talking to Aiden, and I was like, "Hey, bro, what do you see? Like, what do you know? What do you want me to do?" And my coach too, like, "Hey, coach, what do you want me to do here? What do you want me to do here?" And also want to do really my role in special teams. I really want to grow in that. I played a lot of special teams today. In Boise, I'd never played special teams, so in here, I want to learn to play special teams because I want to help the team as much as I can. So that was also a learning curve for me too. So because I never played special teams, and I just in meetings I'm like, wait, kick out, return. It's just like learning. So it's like studying where I'm at the depth chart too, and know where I'm at. That's a big thing for coach to know you're at all times. So.
Kellogg's Frosted Flakes.
Oh, lots of good stuff in there. I hate how they run to an ad. That's why I love to record this stuff first. Lots of good stuff in there, man. I can't say enough good things about Ahmed. Like you really, there's so the guys. I mean, he's a walking reel of positivity first and foremost. So that blends with this channel through and through. That we're all about positivity. We try to be critical when we need to be critical. Obviously, I'm not going to hold any punches back when we're talking about players and trying to give our analysis on things or our opinions on things. But man, how do you not love this dude and love everything that he's about? The things that I took out of this, number one, he immediately says the setup. How am I going to set this up? How am I going to set this guy up? And that is something that I learned early in watching some of his film and then listening, obviously to Corey behind the scenes. And then also when he was on talking about Ahmed, he is a film junkie. And you can tell simply by what he said, like, I can't watch film on the sideline. Like, this dude wants all of it. He wants as much knowledge, as much information, so much so that during the game, he wants to watch film. And then see what he's doing right, see what he's doing wrong. But then that film is going to help him set up, the guys that he's going up against. Maybe the first 3, 4, 5, snaps that you have against a tackle, you're trying to do some different things, right? You're trying to feel them out. They're feeling you out. You're going to show them one look. Maybe the next play you show them the same look. Then you show them something a little bit differently on the third look. And that's exactly what I watched on his film. And by that 4th or 5th or 6th look, bang, it's that rip cut. I mean, he's up and under and through. I watched him straight up pick a dude up in the Hall of Fame game and just throw him away like trash. That's strength. And this guy has speed to power, and he has power to speed. He can go the other way. The setup, play his game. He just wants to play one play at a time. He wants to stay even, even keel. He says stay level. He wants to stay level-headed, not too high, not too low, right? Stay in Campbellism. I'm glad that he mentioned the extra game because that's what it was. This was an extra huge practice is what it was. They weren't happy. Obviously, they weren't happy with their play on the field. He had to be happy being the highest graded defensive player for the team. Had a really good game. Almost had 2 sacks. And like he said, this guy's a little bit faster, a little bit slippery. And then this one was big too. Not afraid to play. Not afraid to make mistakes and playing free, right? That's huge because when a coach allows you to be you, allows you to play your way, your style within the scheme, right? That's the most important thing. Stay within the scheme. Don't be a freelancer. If you're a freelancer, you're going to put the defense in a tough position. And he's leaning on Aiden. You know, dude, tell me what you're seeing. What do you want? What do you need me to do? Just tell me. And then this last part, man, he wants to play special teams. He wants to help this team out as much as he can. Use me, coach. Put me in a position to win. Teach me everything that I need to know, and I'm going to go, like he says, see ball, hit ball, right? Or see ball, get ball. Ahmed is, he is a shooting star waiting to happen. I can't wait to see where his career takes him. I hope, wish, and pray that this dude stays healthy. Because if he stays healthy, he will help this team win. More so than his ability and his strength and his power, his physical acumen. It's here, man. And even more so, it's in his heart. This dude loves football. He's just so happy to be playing in the NFL. And he's landed on one of the best teams to be a part of. At the prime of this team right now, he is in the best situation. The first player from Egypt that's only been playing football for 6 years could be in. It's going to be a fun year watching him. I still haven't seen a Hassanein jersey up for sale. Has anybody else? Have you seen one?
I got one.
Well, I mean, you ordered one. Did you have it custom made or did you order it from that other place?
No, I custom ordered it from Fanatics. I had like $75 in Fanatics cash, so I ordered a black Tesla, a black Ahmed Hassanein, and then a blue Manu. So I got those all on the way. I need to get some more white jerseys.
See, I want a stitched one.
Yep.
I want a stitched one. I'm getting sick of the heat, you know, the vinyl.
You know what though?
I want some stitched ones.
I have a lot of the stitched ones. Like I'm wearing a stitched rake straw right now. Of course, is number 15 from last year, not number 9 for this year. But I'm to the point now. I prefer the pressed on ones. They wash better and they last longer.
Well, I don't dry my jersey. You don't dry your jerseys, do you?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, don't dry them. That's how you keep them, especially if it's embroidered or stitched. Because if you dry it, they crinkle. So, and even with the press on the vinyl, you just don't dry it. You wash it, you hang it up on a hanger, but not through the shoulders, right? You lay it over the hanger and you let it dry. I just felt I got a torn labrum. I just felt it. Well, it hurt. But yeah, man, I want to get one of his jerseys, but I want the stitched one. But most importantly, man, I can't wait to see this dude perform this year. I really think the Lions got lucky, and again, I'm gonna say it for all the people in the back, all the doubters, all the haters. If Aiden, Davenport, Ahmed, if they all stay healthy, which I'm expecting they will, this is going to be one of the best defenses you've ever seen. Ever in the NFL. I know that's a big statement, but I'm telling you from what I've seen over the last few years of this team's growth, what I've seen in a couple of practices, they're coming. They're hungry. They want it. And they have the talent to make it happen. Thoughts on Ahmed so far?
Listen, when we went to the draft, the last day of the draft, I hung around and I left kind of late, but I left before the Lions picked Hassanein, right? And I'm driving on my way home and they make the pick and I'm like, who? Well, the first thing I do is I type in his name, and the first thing that pops up on my phone was an interview with him and his name's the guy that used to be on ESPN, now on NFL Network.
I could be anybody. I have no clue.
Rich Eisen.
Oh, Eisen, gotcha.
And Eisen did a interview with him and asked him how to say his name, and they talked about him coming from Egypt, and I learned kind of who he was from that interview. And from that moment, I just fell in love with the kid, learning that he was the guy at the NFL Combine that was screaming at the coaches, was making all the noise, and I remembered him then. And it's just a feel-good story. This guy's going to end up, if he ends up being a starter in the NFL and makes a name for himself, it's going to end up being a movie, because he's going to be the first.
I didn't even think about that.
You know, it's going to be an actual movie. Let's say he ends up being an all-pro this season.
Well, that's not going to happen. I mean, I would love to see that happen, but
a Pro Bowler or a perennial all-pro. Let's say somebody gets hurt in front of him, he's forced into action, and he becomes a perennial all-pro. Okay. And the Lions win a Super Bowl or two. You can't tell me that would not be a Hollywood movie for him, coming from where he came from, living in the United States, then moving to Egypt, having to learn Arabic, and then 6 years later or 7 years later, coming back to the United States, having to relearn English, having to learn football, only playing a few seasons, and then going on to have a super awesome career and help his team make it to the Super Bowl. That would be a made for Hollywood
script, yeah,
motion picture.
And look, let me be clear. I'm not saying that he can't be. I'm just saying that I think that the snap counts won't allow him. The biggest thing of becoming a Pro Bowler or an All-Pro is snap counts. Like you've got to have probably more than 90% of the snap share or 85% of the snap share. Or if you're a rotational player, maybe you could make the second team. It's just really hard to get on the radar, of the AP or anyone else is doing the voting if you're not getting a ton of snaps. Well, I believe in the kid. I do. I think he's going to have a hell of a career. Again, he's got to stay healthy. And I love your idea of this movie. So I'm going to ask the question right away. What role do I have? I need a role in this movie. Like I just want to be the podcast guy, the interviewer, something.
Yeah.
Hell, I'll even do all the commentary for the whole damn thing.
Yeah. Who's going to play you in the movie?
Me for sure. I'll do it for free. Sign me up, coach. I'm in. I can act. I can do it.
Yeah. And what's the name of the movie?
Oh,
there you go. You got to come up with a title.
What came from Egypt was born in Detroit. All right, let's show you guys some new hats. Detroit Lions in the NFL released their new logo impressions on their hats the other day. Now, you've seen Dan Campbell wearing these things. I got mine on the way. Hopefully, they were just shipped. I just got a message. They were just shipped. That's why it made me think, hey, let's show these things. I did not get the ones with the stripes, on the front. I always get the 5950s right here. This blue one. I got the blue and the black. I can't wait to see these things. This one I really wanted right here in the middle, but I didn't see it in a 5950. They've got some unique designs. I love the visor. I used to wear visors all the time, but if it's not the right type of visor, it fits funny.
Yeah. I tell you what, I was not impressed with any of these little rubber patches.
Oh, dude, they're badass.
No. Oh, God.
These things are badass.
I don't like them at all.
I love them.
I'm not ordering a single one of them.
Well, that's all right. I ordered a couple.
Listen, I have like 200 Lions hats, and I am not ordering those. They're not my cup of tea.
Well, there's some other ones in here that I really liked, but I can't wear, like if it's not fitted, I really don't like. I have hats that aren't fitted, but I don't like to wear them. I'm trying to find these other ones that I was thinking about getting. Like this one right here, this One Pride hat.
Yep.
It's a 970 stretch cap. See, I used to wear the stretch, the 3930s, but they fit funny now. They don't look right. They got this big long bill that just don't work for me.
That's what I'm wearing right now.
Yeah, I don't like. Well, you got a big giant head, so you're stretching the hat. I just don't like. I don't like this. Oh, their sight's not working great. I don't like the snapback.
No, me neither.
But I like this design. Yeah, their site's not working great because every time you try to zoom in on it, it goes right past it.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing about these 3930s. You can have 15 different hats, all this size, and 10 of them will fit different than all the other ones.
I complain every year to them. They send me a hat, I send it right back.
Yeah, because like some of them right up here in the front of the hat where it hits your forehead, it's got like a ridge, and I don't care for it. Some of them fit great. Some of them fit like crap.
Yeah, I like the hat you got on now with the brown. When I had my brown hat, I still have it somewhere. I really like the brown look and the blue. I think it looks great. Could you imagine if the Lions had a brown and blue jersey? That color brown?
Mm-hmm.
That might look kind of slick.
Yeah, I think it looked pretty damn cool. That's why I bought this hat. I like this tan color.
It sucks I couldn't give away the rest of these tickets today, man. I gave 2 away today.
I know Kevin Barr's comment got it's held for review, but it says, "What the F with the tiny small logo?" I'm not going to say what he said, but I agree, Kevin Barr. I'm not down with the tiny little. Now, if they would have made the patch big, the rubber patch bigger with a bigger Lions logo, more legible, perfect. I can deal with it. But the just a great big hat with a tiny. I got a big head already. I don't need to put a tiny little logo on there. I can't remember what fitted size I wear. My draft hat is fitted, and that's like a 7.5 or 7 3/4, something like that.
Yeah, you're probably 7 3/4. I'm 7 3/8. Used to be 7. That tells you anything. My head's blown up a little bit.
Your head's getting big.
just kidding. Jeff Risdon just put something out an hour ago. Sounds like he needs some positivity. So if you get a chance, slide over to Jeff Risdon's Twitter account, send him some positivity. And yeah, I don't know what's going on. Not that I need to know, but whatever he's got going on, man, give him some blessings.
Well, I'm going to end the day with a little something right here. So Brad Holmes, apparently, while the team was out practicing today, was on 97 Won the Ticket. And he gave a little update to the whole Zadarius Smith thing, stating that the two sides have been keeping in touch, though no deal has been reached. So the exact same thing he said weeks and weeks ago when he was on getting interviewed by other people. He's still saying the same thing, that they're staying in touch. So
no surprise there. I'm sure he was probably prompted and asked by whoever's in the morning show. I don't remember their names.
Yeah.
Cause it Costa and Jansen.
Yeah, Costa and Jansen.
Yeah. I'm not surprised. I don't like the headline that Lions still interested in Zadarius Smith. That is a reach. I think it's they're interested in keeping him around if needed, more or less, right?
Well, they're going to see what they have in this Hassanein kid. They're going to see what they have in Davenport, and they got 4 more weeks to do it.
I think they're gonna be just fine. They're gonna give it some time. All right, man.
Well, hey,
you have a good rest of the day.
Yeah, I got to get flying. I will see you guys all tomorrow, and I'm going to work on something really cool for tomorrow.
All right, man. Have a good day.
Yeah, see you guys.
See ya. All right. So I was trying to pull that audio in of this morning. I'll do it tonight. I know it's Wednesday. Right? Is it Wednesday? It's Wednesday. I missed last night's show. So if I'm feeling better tonight, I'll do it tonight. Otherwise, we'll get it rolling for tomorrow and hear what he had to say. I'm sure you guys will all go listen to it now anyway. But we'll highlight it tomorrow. So, all right, y'all have a wonderful day. You know what it is. You know what time it is, man. Subscribe, like, share, do the thing. We need to give away a training camp jacket. I think that we have hit... Oh, we're at 81 likes. I should have turned ads off a long time ago. I apologize. I totally missed it. I'll get you tomorrow. I need to look at one thing, and then we're going to give away a training camp jacket. Subscribers, where are we at? We're at a dead crawl. I need to get some videos out. Man, we are so close. We just need, 4 more subscribers this morning. That's it. Just 4 more. We'll hit that next milestone. And you know what? I'll even sweeten the pot. Once we get to 9,500, I'm going to give away. Let me go grab it. All right, so don't forget, when we get to 10,000 subscribers, we're going to be giving away 2 tickets to a game this year. But I have a Derek Barnes mini helmet, signed certificate of authenticity. One of the coolest Penei Sewell helmets. I love these salute to service ones. But you got Penei Sewell. I can't turn it. Penei Sewell. There you go. I'll be giving these away. And then another Chris Spielman. I love this one on the salute to service. These are expensive helmets. They're rare. They're limited edition, limited runs. So they definitely hold their value. A lot of these are worth, $150, $250. But we give them away, man, because we love you guys, and you guys do a great job at supporting the channel with all the donations, all of the hard work that you guys put in, and ends up helping somebody, and that's what it's all about. We are so close. I will say definitely by the end of this season, we should be right where we need to be to start getting things really kicked off. So once we get to 10,000, 2 tickets to a game this year. It'll be randomly selected. Once we get to 9,500, I'm going to give away one of these helmets. And once we get to 9,300, I'll give away a your choice helmet or jacket. But let's give away a jacket today. Let me get, so do me a favor. If you want a jacket and you wear extra large, that's all we have. It's all we get our hands on. I have 1 large, I think, and the rest are extra large. Put your hand up if you're new to the channel. Put a smiley face if you're not new to the channel. And by new or not new, new would be this season. So since the draft. Not new would be before the draft. Kevin Barr, you're not new. You missed the assignment. Smiley face if you're not new. Put your hand up if you are new. And you know what? Even if you're not extra large, you can give it away to somebody if you end up winning and it doesn't fit. You can give it away to somebody. All right, I'll give it a few seconds here. Yeah, Trace is cleaned up in the helmet department. Whether it's raffles, which by the way, we still have raffles going on. Buy me a coffee /rocked on. Let's see what we got going on in the raffle department while we're letting this go. I know we've got to be getting close. We sold a lot of tickets early. The way it works is once we hit our reserve, we start to do the raffle. Give me just a second. I'll bring this up. All right, so this is Buy Me a Coffee /Rocked That's ROCKEDON. We've got Terry and Arnold. You've got a custom Rocked On jersey, which is also signed and numbered. Go figure. Eric Rintamaki got number 2. I put number 1 on mine. Gibbs. These are all for raffle. You can buy a Rocked On jersey if you want. These are all just customized through NFL. So we got Aiden Hutchinson, $10 a ticket, Terry and Arnold, and Gibbs and Rocked On. These are all up for raffle. You can buy your Lions hat down here. This is our Lions hat, our version. It's $40. So buy me a coffee /Rocked On. You can also drop a donation into the Rocked On Cancer Foundation over here on the right. Buy Me a Coffee does a great job, man. Great supporters. Really love how much support they give us. All right, we got a lot of smiley faces out there. We've got a few hands, and let me get the bot. So I've got this bot on the backside that I queue it up, and I say I need it to recognize fans that have joined in the last 90 days or audience members that have joined in the last 90 days, and then everybody else. And then it'll pick one for us. Eventually, the bot's going to be in the chat. We had the bot in the chat before, but he was, or she, or it, whatever it is, was way too involved. Way too many messages. So we had to dial that back. All right, we're just 2 subscribers away. I know y'all got it in you. We're just 2 away. Wixter says, does being a vet hold any weight with the salute to service helmets? I'm not a vet, Wixter. I'm not a vet, but vets are near and dear to my heart. Grandfather served. People in the mod crew, some of them are vets, but veterans that serve the United States and our Constitution, they're big people in my eyes, man. They deserve anything and everything in this world has to offer. Michael Garrity just sent out a Detroit Lions membership to Goose. Welcome into the Lions faithful, Goose. If you visit the members only chat in the post section on YouTube, you'll see that there's an opportunity to join the Voxer if you want to join the Voxer. Michael Garrity just sent out another one to Mark Garcia. Big shout out to you, Michael Garrity. All right, we're going to let the bot do its thing. Come on, buddy. Start working. All right, here we go. All right, extra large training camp jacket goes to... Come on, man. Come on. I don't know why this thing's taking so long. Come on. Wicked Warrior. I've never seen that name. Wicked Warrior. Are they even in the chat? Wicked Warrior? Oh, that's Wickster. Why doesn't it say your name? Why does it say Wicked Warrior and not Wickster? That must be your actual handle? Wicked Warrior? Interesting. Well, hey, congratulations, man. I guess being a vet does hold some... I don't know if you are a vet. Did you say you're a vet? Hold some weight. But, yeah, congratulations, man. All you got to do is send me an email, mailbag@rockdown.com with your address, and we'll get it shipped out probably today. So send it out. You guys have been great, man. I want to give away a helmet, but we're just a couple of subscribers away. So maybe when we get back tonight, we'll be able to give away a helmet, and then at 9,500 we'll give away one of the Salute to Service helmets. 10,000. We're going to give away 2 tickets to the Lions game, a Lions game this year. I mean, you guys know the cost of a ticket. That's at least a $700 value. I don't care where you're sitting. Even if it's in the nosebleeds, it's still going to cost, several $100s to go see a game. And a lot of this stuff will get donated to us, or it's used from our fan funds to buy things that we'd like to give away. So make sure you subscribe today. Well, look at that, man. Goose just got a membership and joined, and then this individual just turned around and sent 5 out. Look at that, man. That's an awesome member right there, man. Getting in the action right away. Devin Siak, Jody Carithers, Robbie Ones. No, I'm sorry. Krista H, Devin Siak, Jody Carithers, Subspaced, and Dream Weaver all just received a membership on behalf of Goose, who's also a new member today. So, all right, y'all, go in Pride, go Detroit Lions. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and I'll get you on the ads tomorrow. Tomorrow we will just run ad free for the last hour at least, because I missed it today. I missed the last half hour. So, you guys have a wonderful day. We'll check you guys out tonight. Make sure you subscribe. Let's get these things handed out, man. Take care.